All right, everybody, welcome to LOCPod, Season 9, Episode 10. We're Indiana's most dangerous podcast, and we're pretty popular in Belgium.
And we made it back. Season 9, Episode 10.
People don't even know what you're talking about.
No,
We made it back. We're on West Coast time. Hey, Jill.
Hey.
What's up? Doing this special Tuesday appearance?
Yeah, it's like it's Friday, but it's not.
Yeah,
Is it Friday?
I wish.
You want it to be Friday.
Yeah. Tonight, Jill has a big baseball game, or softball game.
Yep.
Who's playing?
Well, there's lots of teams in the region, but I believe before us is EC Central and Munster, and then Hammond Central will take on Morton.
And that's your team, Hammond Central.
Yeah.
You're varsity coach?
Assistant varsity.
Sectional softball. I let Jill know at 5 a.m. that she had to be on today, so good job, Jill.
That's great.
Yeah. Hey, so are you first base or third base coach?
I'm on first.
I'm first. That was my position at Purdue.
Yeah, it's a place to be.
Where
it's
are you
all the
playing?
cool kids hang out.
What's that?
What field?
Maryville.
Oh,
Maryville,
that's where the sectional is?
It's a big
they're
section.
hosting.
But first base coach, well, like in baseball, this is what you do if you're a good first base coach.
Oh, here we go.
You sit there and you go, back! That's what you do.
Get him back.
Go, 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 go!
Okay, but you can't
Yeah.
lead. What about in softball? You can't lead.
I know. That's what I
You,
said.
get a lead. You don't really get a ton of, at least in our games, you don't get a ton of throwdowns to first, but I'm really good at like telling the kids how many outs there are. Like, hey guys, 2 outs.
No, don't
Really?
forget.
You
2
know,
outs.
Are you
That's
always
important.
Got to
right?
go on the ground, standard.
Same stuff every time, right?
Pretty much.
Let the liners get through, right?
Yeah.
Let
That's
the liners
important,
get through.
though. You got to remind them how many
Halfway.
outs.
Yeah, let that liner get through. Don't get doubled up. Make me look like an asshole, right?
Mm.
Because then the kid gets picked off.
And then they're like,
And they're
what
like,
were you
what
doing?
what- come on, coach.
Right.
And you're like, dude, I wasn't running.
I told them how many outs there were.
I told him let the liner get through. The liner did not get through, right? Yeah.
So
First
Friday, we're going to get a full report, right? How this
Oh,
went
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the advantage of
Jill
this.
was like super psyched about this. She was talking to us about how well the girls are playing and looking forward to an upset, right? Would it be an upset if you guys won?
I think it would. Yeah, they beat us twice this year.
Really?
It would be an
all right.
upset.
Not today, baby.
Not
And it's like a
today.
Hammond.
Anything can happen in the postseason.
Of course, I got to shut
Rivalry
the hell
game.
up. It's 2 Hammond teams playing
Yeah, it's
each
a
other.
rivalry game.
Oh.
I'm sitting behind home plate.
Just neutral, right down the middle.
Yeah, right down the middle.
You're coming? Is that you? Are you saying that you're coming? Because that doesn't feel correct.
Just look for me. I'll be there.
Okay.
Just
In
look for
spirit.
me, Jill. Like I usually start right after the game starts. I'll come sneaking in.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just look for me. I'll be
Okay.
there.
Sports
Text me when
Corner
you get
with
there.
Jill.
I'll text you when I get there. Okay,
Okay. I'll be
All
on
right.
first base.
But yeah, like if you don't get the text till after the game,
Okay.
Hopefully with a lot of runners. Hopefully with a lot of like, go take two, keep going.
if Jill,
Extra bases.
if one of your players gets doubled up on first base, I'm freaking leaving. I'd leave on
Okay.
the spot.
Heckle the first base coach.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
out.
coach.
Come on, coach.
Come on out.
That liner did not get through. Right?
You're like, what?
Let the liners through, Joe.
How do you guys do against Munster?
We don't play them.
Oh, and well, you could potentially.
We could potentially.
Got
In
it.
this, you're saying in this sectional, you
in
know.
this in this sectional, yes.
Gotcha.
Goddard.
In
was-
the
But you're in the same class, right?
Yeah. That's how the sectionals are laid out.
Right.
Yeah, by classes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
4A.
4A. That's a big school.
Looking forward to Sports Corner with Jill on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man. Jay Vez, I know we're, for those of you that aren't aware, we did a quick, we sort of hinted on the last show, but I ran out of the studio on the last show. Kevin and I ran to the airport. John went to the airport a little later. We went to see Grateful Dead in L.A.
It was a great
And then
trip.
we went to a convention in Vegas with the economic development team. So we all drove there from L.A. to Vegas, which is sort of epic.
We all.
Cool shirt.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. I know, L.A. Laker. We were in L.A. Forum. It was
Turn
cool,
around
Joe.
on that shirt.
The old, huh?
Let's see the back of that shirt.
See,
L.A.
So cool.
L.A.
I know. I wish I wanted this shirt to be yellow,
Mm-hmm.
same color as the Lakers. I was hoping they would
Be
do
kinda
that.
cool.
But yeah,
And thank you, John, for purchasing a Grateful Dead bag to hold all of our swag for the whole concert. John, I think John's wrist was ready to.
Yeah.
Oh, were you the room mom?
Yes.
Yeah. I packed like
sure.
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for everyone.
John
No
was
crust.
totally the room mom.
yeah. They have peanut
That
butter and jelly
show.
sandwich at dead shows. But
Yeah.
you don't want to eat those.
Like he also like when we were done drinking waters, we just put them in the bag, and then he would take them out.
You know, crazy California rules.
Thank you, John.
Aquafina is in cans in California.
Really?
Which I kind of like.
I do. It was like a real flimsy, like aluminum,
and it kept it
you
cold.
could tell it's like thinner than the normal aluminum you use. It's like flexible, and then you drink it, and then you smash it, and it's probably way better for the environment. I
I think so.
imagine.
Just
Probably
Aquafina?
whatever they had there.
That's what we were drinking. But it was all in tin cans.
You don't have to worry about the plastic bottles and going out and killing the dolphins.
It's got to be way better for the environment.
And
it was like a real flimsy aluminum, too. It wasn't your normal like thickness of a can. It was a little thinner, you could tell. But another weird California rule, if you go to a store, right, John, and you want a bag, they charge you like extra money. Like I think it's like a quarter or something like that for a plastic bag.
Don't they do that in Illinois or Chicago now?
Do they?
In my case, it was $25.
So you didn't get the plastic bag, I take it.
I did not.
They're basically saying, you want a plastic bag, you want to kill a dolphin, it's going to cost you $25. $25 to kill dolphins.
I thought
there's people not laughing at that joke. No. I can tell. People are like,
$25 to kill dolphins.
That's the title of the show. There's people out there. That shit ain't funny, McDermott. Killing dolphins is worth way more than $25.
That is true.
First he says Indian on the last show, and now he's talking about
That's
dolphins.
right.
I said Indian
a couple shows ago.
You can't say Indian?
No, I mean,
I don't know.
What if you're talking about somebody from India?
Then you can. I think.
See these rules. There should be like a rule book.
I think some
we
Native
should write
Americans
a
say
book.
Indian.
A rule book.
We should write it.
LOCPod rule book.
I was talking to Zach.
Okay, Jill, get on that.
Okay.
Zach was like, I was listening to that episode, and he was like, he said there was like the Indian part, and I was like, well, yeah, can people say that anymore? Like, you don't know what the rules are anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Let's
You
do the
can't keep
LOCPod
up
rule
with
book.
it.
I think you can say. I think you can still say. I think some
What if
Native
you say
Americans
Indian about
Indian.
somebody wearing the headdress and all that?
What's it?
If you said Indian there.
This is going down a road.
No, but like seriously.
I think
like
it
if
depends.
some dude with a headdress on a horse and came riding up to you,
Yes.
and you were out in the country, obviously, because that doesn't happen in the city.
Out in the West somewhere.
So
maybe.
some dark-skinned gentleman with a headdress on and paint on his face comes riding up on a horse. I have to say,
Native American.
Hi, Native American. My name is Mayor McDermott.
How about
I don't know.
Sir? Hey, sir.
Hi, sir. Did they? Yeah.
Hello, Chief.
I think
Probably
Oh, no,
chief.
that
Chief.
seems bad.
Chief.
Well, what if he's had a headdress on? Maybe he is the chief.
It could be.
What if you said chief and he's not?
It's totally
Then
disrespectful.
it's disrespectful.
If he
to
is the chief and you don't say chief, it's totally disrespectful.
Or I
He's
wonder if
on the
it's-
side of the road crying, picking
Yeah.
up garbage.
The chief?
Remember that old commercial?
Trail of Tears.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
Yes.
about that.
Long
I was like,
time
why
ago.
would... By the way, we had a dude on a horse in Hammond the other day. Got arrested.
Yeah.
on a
Did
horse.
he have a headdress on?
He had... he was like some cowboy that
He's
likes
not
to...
happy. He showed up at the law department yesterday.
Oh, really?
No.
Was he on the horse?
I did
that
not
would
see his
be
horse.
awesome.
Oh.
So, excuse me, sir. There's no horses allowed in City Hall. We still have the old.
We don't
rope.
have a post to
like
To
wrap
hitch,
the rope
to
around.
hitch
it.
it?
We don't have a hitching post.
I
here at City
personally
Hall.
think we should be a horse welcoming city. It's better for the environment, I'm sure.
But
Really?
we won't allow chickens in the backyard. But
John, have you seen what happened in New York City when there were no cars and there were just horses? It was like a public health disaster. All the
Well,
you gotta
excrement,
figure
horse
that
shit
out.
gets in
You
the
gotta-
drain.
yeah.
yeah,
gotta
it was
figure
all
that
over. You
out.
couldn't even walk on the sidewalks.
That's like the opposite of Mike Pence at Mackinac Island, right? He's supposed to be using horses and used cars. You're talking about the exact
Remember
opposite.
that?
Yeah. He like
brought his motorcade in.
defiled.
Yeah, sure.
Good. All right.
So we went and
back
saw
to
Grateful
LA.
Dead. Yeah.
Kevin's my thesaurus.
Well, I'm just
Oh,
trying
thank
to
you, Marissa.
He's
confirm
like,
me.
oh, dictionary actually.
Marissa's in chat. I am solidly
Marissa B.
pro horse.
Marissa is solidly pro horse. That's why
Wow,
she
I hope
married
that
me.
case doesn't go in
Ah,
front of her.
Jesus.
I don't understand that.
Oh, I'll explain
I'll tell
it
you
to
after
later,
the show.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Can you say horse
course you don't.
when you refer to yourself on the show?
Of course you don't.
Kevin, oh
I
my
still don't
you
understand it.
baby.
All right.
You poor innocent baby.
So anyway, we pull into LA Forum, right? It's the Kia Forum. This is where Showtime Lakers played in the heyday. It's right next to the football stadium.
Yeah, I had
SoFi.
not been back there since the 90s, I think. Early 90s or like
You saw
mid-90s.
games there, right?
Yeah, like when Matt went to college, he went to Pepperdine, and so that we went to I think a Lakers game. I don't even remember, something out there.
The place
It's a
is
while
small,
ago.
right?
Yeah, it's like an old school stadium. Like it's pre like luxury boxes.
Yeah.
No balcony.
No balcony.
It's just like the floor,
It
and
was
then like
nice.
it just goes straight up. It was great.
It was. I mean,
really
it's
cool.
super cool venue to see a show. Super. I was never closer to the Grateful Dead than I was the other day. I was never closer. Like when we walked in, Kevin got us there a good hour and a half before the show started just to be safe.
I respect that, Kevin.
Thank you.
We were literally the first people in the stadium.
That is not true.
Only because Tom said it was an hour and a half away, and it turned out to be
thank
15
you, John.
That's
minutes
what the
away.
dude told me, by the way.
Thank you, John. So
That's what the dude told me.
Instead of like
We could have
having a
partied
nice
in the
dinner,
parking lot.
instead of having a nice dinner
At a sushi place,
a great
your
sushi
brother
place
recommended.
my brother recommended.
Yeah.
Tom makes us leave 2 hours before the show because it's an hour and a half drive. I pull over just because we had to make a quick stop, and I look at my phone. I'm like, John, it's only 28 minutes. And then Tom gets in the car and says, yeah, I know, fine. And then we get in the car. We end up at In-N-Out Burger, which was fine. I mean, no problem.
What a great burger.
And that's why we were an hour and a half early. Not
we were in the state, but so we did the Grateful Dead Village, Joe.
Oh yeah,
that was the first. Was that the first time you went to a Grateful Dead Village, Kev?
I would say yes.
John,
I usually avoided
sure.
it.
Yes,
it's madness. It's madness.
Imagine a flea market. Imagine an open air drug flea market.
Yeah,
here we go.
That's the more accurate. Mushroom chocolate bars on sale.
$15.
Like cardboard piece of cardboard.
Ghetto ass. Like anybody that buys that shit from that guy is freaking sane.
So there was the first person
ganja gummies.
The first person we ran into
$15. It's got to be high quality.
Yeah,
shit,
I guess
right?
a real like it should be barter, right? For if you're really in like a
no,
hippie,
they do a lot of barter. Oh, so he was selling mushrooms separately. I didn't see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude.
yeah. Look at that.
I didn't. So the first guy we walk into, right? He's got Ziploc baggies, and he's just basically saying, "Well, I think he said this. You guys need any shrooms? I've got ketamine. It's got peyote available." I was like, "What the?"
Guy walked right up to us.
Yeah.
Walked right up to us.
He had like
that
Ziploc bags.
No.
I'm
just asking.
No,
Jesus.
but the weed only is legal.
Just weed. Okay.
But like peyote. The mushrooms, like they have advertisements. That's a felony.
Like,
and they're like advertising, "Hey, mushroom, $15." Like that's like the Grateful Dead market.
Is it just you assuming that they're not normal mushrooms?
It could be. They could be soon to cook.
That's true.
Could be regular mushrooms.
Yeah, some portobellos.
Yeah. I want to get some of these and put them on my steak later. Is that cool?
Yeah.
He's like, only put like 3 on your steak, dude. It's gonna be.
There were a lot of other cool tents though, like with shirts and really good like cool posters,
jewelry,
galore. It's really neat.
You could buy like beers. Mm-hmm. It's like, of course, that's not licensed. You could buy whatever you want, basically. Mm-hmm. And the Grateful Dead market, and it was just jam packed with people.
Tom even bought a hot dog.
Oh my God! I bought a hot dog.
I forgot about that.
I did forget about that.
Was that a mistake?
John and I were like, we're not having one of those. Tom's like, you guys are crazy.
It looked good. It had a whole bunch of like mayonnaise and bacon. And
not that Tom was hungry or anything.
I was starving when I got out of the Grateful Dead show.
I wonder why.
I know. I was starving. It was a 4-hour show. It was a.
That was the. You know what? The fact that we were like, oh, they'll probably go 3.5. 4.
Well, with the break, but
sure, but.
They played forever. And they had an encore. I've never seen the Dead have an encore.
They did.
Did you have seats or was
Black Muddy Water was the encore?
We were in the pit.
Did you take the preventative asprin for if you're going to be standing that long?
I did not.
No, you know what? But I did tape up my ankle. I'm all jacked up right now. Like, between standing for 4 hours straight at the Grateful Dead show and then I ran and walked 11 miles in Vegas a couple days ago. So I'm like, I did a pretty good job working out.
Wait, you're supposed to take aspirin if you're standing up for a long time?
I didn't know that.
Listen, if you're at my age, if I'm going to do any kind of activity, I take a preventative aspirin.
Really?
So.
Damn. All right. I did not take
it. Was a lot. Was it too long? Was it too long of a show?
Yeah, it was getting there.
The second set wasn't as good as the first.
They do that sometimes, but the first was epic.
It was good. Don't forget.
The first was stupid though.
Yeah, the first was great. The second set was really, really good. But
so this is us rolling in. This is when it hit Tom. I think I took this clip when we were rolling in there.
You taping me?
Yeah.
2 shows, Key Forum, sold out. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
They did not feel like a straight.
2 days.
They did
2
not
days
sing that.
sold out. You don't see that anymore where you see a concert and it says sold out.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's very cool. So you're pulling in. It's got 2 shows.
We had good
Forum,
parking.
Sold out. It's got the Dead logo. Just excellentness. We had Kevin got us a really nice parking spot, so we got out super quick after the show was over.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That was solid.
How about when we realized how close we were going to be to the stage?
This video is great. So because we had pit tickets, there was a separate entrance which allowed us to really. Yeah. There's a huge line to get in, and they're if you're on the floor, here you go in this entrance.
So like if you were back in the heyday Laker days, this is the entrance all the actors took to get to the floor. This is the entrance that all the bigwigs took, and we had the entrance because we didn't have seats. We were on the floor, So this is a cool part.
What's the name of the podcast? Or I'm sorry, what's the name of the what's the Lakers?
Winning Time.
Winning Time. So if you've seen Winning Time, you'll know all about the forum.
So, and by the way, watch that show. Have you seen it, Joe?
No.
It's on HBO. Oh my goodness. I'm not even a huge basketball fan, and neither is Marissa. And we were addicted to this show. It's amazing. It's got like the heyday maker, the what's the word I'm looking for? The Lakers in the
Lakers Celtics.
80s. But like, what do they call Showtime
season.
Lakers? Showtime Lakers, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, the whole thing. It's really, really good. Winning Time. It's on HBO. Worth it for sure. But this is the entrance that all the like Jack Nicholson takes when he wants to sit on the floor of a Laker game. So this is the right way.
Is this where we go?
We're in the forum.
There's no one else here.
I ran into you. This was crazy.
I know.
There's nobody.
Like, this is how early we were, by the way.
That's another good point.
Like, see the line? No.
And then you're like right in there. That was it.
Yeah, so to the left
is the venue.
The main, yeah.
And
like,
if you've ever been to the forum, the right side here, they have like
that
like
was cool.
posters basically, or just like
Life
photographs,
size.
life size, even bigger than life size, on the walls of all the bands that have been at the forum.
Yeah, they had like
Tom and
Van Halen,
Shock.
Madonna. Oh my God, I was
close
like
we were gonna
geeked.
be.
And like there was, that was so cool.
It was great.
Yeah. Hey, remember that guy? He was doing a live podcast during the show. So check this out, Joe. There's a hippie looking dude. He was like total deadhead, and he has his phone up. He's streaming like a podcast and smoking a joint and holding the joint in front of the phone so that everybody in the podcast could clearly see he's smoking a joint and he has the Grateful Dead in the background.
Yeah, so it's like Facebook Live. I was laughing with John about this because it reminded me like back in the day when you used to go to concerts and people would be taping them secretly, like to bootleg the tapes, right? And this guy's like 21st century bootlegger, but it was so funny. We finally found. I was kind of trying to get the guy's name, and I found it's like Bud E. Kilowatt.
How you managed to see that on that screen?
Well, it was weird. You guys, everybody was watching the show, and you guys were like pulling up on the guy so you could get his podcast, and you did successfully.
But this gives you a good idea, actually, of where we were. So in the top right corner, this is John Mayer.
Yeah,
that is the stage right
That's
there.
how freaking close we were.
He's phenomenal.
Oh my
He's
God.
incredible.
I'm like
phenomenal.
Joe. I'm like a fanboy with him.
There
like,
he is.
We should go when he comes back to Chicago.
He's coming. Oh, you're taking solo?
Yeah, solo.
Yeah, no.
Have you seen him solo?
No, but you know
amazing.
what? After the Dead tour, they stopped early this year because he's going on an acoustic tour. So I'll go.
He's amazing.
LOCPod
trip.
Yeah.
LOCPod.
Bud E.
There's got to be positives for LOCPod.
Look at that joint.
It ain't getting up from a text at 5 a.m. with Kevin telling me to come to the show today. That ain't the positive.
You guys got a picture of him holding the joint in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
He would hold this joint in front of the camera for like 5 minutes.
And
just
by the way,
mesmerized.
you don't have him exhaling. He would exhale like a freaking cloud of smoke, like
so that it
going
would
all
show
around
up on his video.
Right.
And then, by the way, like we also noticed he only had 6 people on his Facebook Live watching him, but he was so into it.
So I friend request him mid-show, and he accepted. Here it is. So, yeah,
No
everyone
shit.
follow Buddy Kilowatt, and you can check out. He just spends his life filming. Yes.
There he is.
Look at this.
He just
When is he coming on the pod?
Let's do it.
Forum Club.
Reach out to him, John.
I will. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can get this hippie.
What if we have him as a guest on a show?
That'd be
That's what Jill
great.
just said.
Oh,
It'd be
I
awesome.
thought you said go to meet him at the next show. Sorry.
We've
Yeah.
got to get him on the show.
Buddy Kilowatt. Yeah, we have something in common with
Seems
him.
like a
Maybe
cool
he's
guy.
famous.
He is sort of. He's like a LA
6
fixture.
people following.
Look at this. This is
that
his.
what it was?
Yeah.
He's a fixture of the LA scene.
This is
Yeah.
his life.
Well, his
Going to
life
meet-
is the dead.
You know what, dude? The guy probably writes off his tickets. He probably made this a business, and he goes to all these shows, and he writes off every freaking concert ticket he ever gets because he's got
Yeah.
it.
He
He's
beat
got
the
a little
system.
business.
And his business probably loses money every quarter, but who cares? Because he gets to go to shows for free, which is the main purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Buddy
I'm going to
Kilowatt.
have Kyle clip this segment, send it to Buddy Kilowatt, and then see if we hear back from him.
Buddy Kilowatt, we want you on LOCPod.
Mm-hmm.
We will put far more than 7 people on that show.
Wait, read
People-
the description of his.
Well, it's just it's
Instagram
a lyric.
What is it?
Oh, it's a lyric.
What does it say?
Oh,
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't.
Shake the hand that shook the hand of P.T. Barnum and Charlie Chan. Shine your shoes, light your fuse. Can you use them old U.S. blues?
Yeah, it's U.S. Blues.
yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Love.
is that
Good.
a dead lyric?
Yeah,
Okay.
U.S. Blues. They didn't play that Saturday.
Mm.
They did a good show for us, but the second act, sometimes you'll go to the Dead in the second act and it's all chill. We did that in Indy. It was the same way. And we took Zach with us to Indy, and we only got to the second act that day because we were working, and we took Zach there, and it was like chill in the second act.
They did do Sugar Magnolia second act. That was real good.
Yeah, but it was chill. It was like
Yep.
really like, even the encore, you know.
Black Muddy Water was not like a
Right.
encore.
It's
you'd
super
think,
chill.
yeah.
But, and you know, so this is the final tour, Joe. And so now I've seen 2 shows on the final tour. All right. And I've seen Bob Weir mess up 2 out of 2 times, and that's unusual because he's been in Grateful Dead for 50 years, right? He messed up Estimated Profit this time. Now, the thing about this show, first off, it was the first official show of the tour. It was in LA Forum. Tickets were expensive, obviously. It's the first tour. And they show a video clip before, a little panel that said, this is going to be a concert. We're recording this concert. You'll be able to get it for free because you attended, right? So we all know going in, this is going to be a great show because these guys are going to jam because it's the first one and it's live, being recorded live in the Kia Forum. So they play Estimated Profit. No, I realize a lot of people listening to the show aren't fans of Grateful Dead. Estimated Profit's important in this show because a big part of that is they go, California, glistening in the silver sun, California. Obviously, they want to make this one stick because it's the first show. It's being recorded. It's in California. Mm-hmm. You know,
the lyrics match. We talked about it before. We got there. Like they're going to play Estimated Profit.
They always do something that's local, right? Mm-hmm. You know, when they started off in New Orleans, they did Truckin'. Busted down in New Orleans.
Oh, I know that song.
Right.
There you go.
So the Estimated Profit was going to make the cut. He messed up the song like 3 times. Like missed whole sections of lyrics. Like he forgot them.
Maybe he was just stoned.
No, I think that's why it's the final tour. I
love
Bob Weir.
last time they put new music out? Like decades and
Jerry
decades.
Garcia.
I mean,
Garcia.
like he died in 95.
94.
So.
Right.
So they should know these lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, but he's also
he's like 75 years old.
He's 75.
I got you.
He's 75.
He's been doing it since like 63 or something.
And if he's forgetting the lyrics at 75, you know.
Probably was their last one then, right?
Thank you. That's exactly what I was saying. It's obvious. That's to me. And I love Bob Weir. I'm super glad he's still playing. But I'm hoping that they're just being respectful of him in this tour. And then as soon as they, finish touring this year, Bob Weir retires. And then hopefully they announce that John Mayer is taking Dead and Company and he's going to keep doing this. I hope. Because
he was unbelievable.
John Mayer was
I just can't see him walking away. I just can't see him never playing a Dead song again. I just can't see it.
Yeah, because part of being able to jam like he does with the Dead, he can't do that in the solo tour.
No, people wouldn't stand for it.
Right.
To go see a John Mayer concert. Yeah, but Jill, like a Grateful Dead show, they'll play one song for 12, 13,
minutes,
14 minutes.
20 minutes.
Right. So and people dig it. And we dig it because you know the lyrics and then you just really get to see them just jamming out. Like the piano player the other day blew my mind. He was so good. They featured him a lot too.
Yeah. He was really good.
So anyway, that was a nice trip.
Clementi,
it was great to see that. We ended up doing some work over the next couple of days, hanging out with the business team, with the economic development team that were visiting Vegas for a trade show. So it was a nice weekend, but I am still on West Coast time for sure. I woke up this morning at my normal time and I was like, damn.
And I was awake late last night because I couldn't go because it was like I was 2 hours behind. It was 11 o'clock and it's 9 o'clock.
Right. So anyway, thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We wanted to let you know what we did this weekend. What is this? Oh, you're going to play that video?
Thank you, LOCPod, for letting us go to the show.
We're going to have a funny-ass video we're going to start the next section with, but we'll get some ads done. But when we come back, we have a really funny video. And I realize you're listening, but we'll describe what we see. And the video is funny at the very beginning, and then the audio is classic.
And it's also like kind of a... it's kind of like... John just saw it. It's kind of like one of these topics that...
Yeah, it's stealing.
Yeah, it's about stealing.
A guy was stealing and how a lady reacted to a guy stealing.
Yeah.
It's classic. So hang out. It's worth it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with some Byway Brewing. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and an outside patio. Our brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private events like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. Byway is conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who's in the court and in the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business. Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 54 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit Rogers Roofing. That's ROGERS Roofing.com. rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com. 219-933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
Kuklakis Law. Are you facing legal challenges and you don't know where to turn? Well, who are you going to call? Kuklakis, your trusted legal source for advice in Indiana and in Illinois. Do you need representation buying or selling a house? Who are you going to call? Kuklakis. Do you need help forming a business? Who are you going to call? Kuklakis. Did you get injured in a car crash or at your job? If so, call Kuklakis Law. No matter what your legal issue is, call Kuklakis Law at 219-671-6347 for a free consultation. Hablamos Español.
That was perfectly done. I mean, like 10 episodes in and like not even a tongue twister anymore.
I got it.
All right.
Misprint Printing. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience in technology allows them to offer custom commercial on-demand printing and sign solutions. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and Hammond.
All right.
Thank you to our advertisers. Can I bring up one more thing about L.A.?
Yeah.
Because this is something, like, we've kind of banged on California a bunch.
Yeah.
And
I know where you're going.
Yeah. And, you know, I thought, well, a couple things. One, everyone was like, oh, Inglewood, man, it's really shitty. Be careful over there. And I kind of thought Inglewood was not.
We were in Inglewood, Joe. Isn't that first off, I think we saw Snoop's high school. Right?
Yes.
We were in Inglewood. I felt like I was in a nice neighborhood the whole time.
Maybe
there was like good
the
restaurants.
Bad parts of Inglewood.
Dude, I've been in shitty neighborhoods, like close to where we live.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I'm in shitty neighborhoods close to where I live, all you could buy in these neighborhoods is like beer, booze,
lottery tickets,
sure. And gas.
And a dollar store.
And then they have your guys wheeling carts around, right? But you don't have like nice restaurants and stuff. Dude, Inglewood's got like nice restaurants.
I had
In-N-Out burgers. Like,
John, did you have a problem with Inglewood?
No, I you hear it in rap songs all the time.
Right.
Inglewood.
I think it's like a pleasant, nice neighborhood.
And we got to see SoFi next to the Forum.
But Inglewood is nice. I totally agree.
I agree.
Another thing, I always banging on the homeless all the time. I saw hardly any where we were.
No, there were no tents on the sidewalks.
We were in Marina Del Rey.
Yeah.
Is super nice.
Yeah.
That's where we were. Mm-hmm. That's where we stayed.
But we had to drive into L.A. and we had to drive through LAX and Inglewood. Yeah, I mean,
we didn't go to downtown L.A. I think if we'd gone to downtown L.A., we'd
maybe.
Have seen more.
But I mean, I guess what I would say is near the airport and stuff, because people are complaining like at O'Hare. Oh, there's homeless people at O'Hare and this and that. I didn't see anything at LAX. I didn't see anything around. No tents.
LAX is super nice airport.
Yeah,
I saw more homeless in Vegas than Inglewood or LA or whatever.
Agree.
I saw a lot of RVs in LA, and you could tell people were living in them.
Sure.
They had RVs with like cardboard on the windows and stuff like that. So I did see that.
Yeah, but I didn't see any tents, and I didn't have to like move around on the sidewalk to make sure I, avoided the homeless person.
So far, the worst city I've seen with homeless is San Diego, and there's not even a close second so far with what I've seen. Right, John?
Agree.
Do you think a lot of those are vets in San Diego?
I think, yeah, probably some of them. But San Diego is a big veteran area, but a lot of them, honestly, I saw a dude begging the other day, and he was like 24. He was like able-bodied, and I'm sure he's got some type of addiction issues. But it's like, this is the best economy we've had in 50 years right now. It's like the post-World War II economy right now. Anybody could get a job making $15 an hour in California, probably even higher. And you're begging on the streets. It's really tough for me to come to grips with, and I get it if it's a mom and she's got 3 kids and she's begging, obviously I feel different, but this kid, it's like, dude,
able-bodied,
get a job.
Yeah, get a job.
What's the matter with you, man?
And you just hope that, like you said, it could be an addiction issue, but that's a whole
sure it is.
It's a whole nother ball game, but it doesn't take away from the fact that, you're young and able-bodied.
I feel like I'm adding to the problem by just giving you free money.
I agree with that.
Right? Well, we saw it the other day in Hammond. I have a strict rule in Hammond. I mean, I don't think people in this show would be surprised to learn that I have strict rules when it comes to people sleeping on sidewalks, and I also have strict rules when it comes to people begging on the streets. We passed laws that make it against city ordinance, right, Kevin?
Well, panhandling, of course, is protected under the Constitution, but under federal...
stop. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
What?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
We have an ordinance that you wrote.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain this to me there?
Not about panhandling.
Panhandling is legal under that's what I need you to explain to me.
Yeah, we need to dissect
Yeah,
this.
so we didn't write any ordinance about begging. We wrote ordinance to make sure you can't sell stuff on the street. Like
you can't go out into traffic and beg for money.
Correct.
Either.
You cannot do that either.
Okay. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like
obstruction of traffic, stuff like that, loitering, things like that. Yeah.
We enforce it pretty strictly, and cops know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the other day I pull into an intersection, and the reason we do it is this: there's this little like 10-year-old girl that goes running out into the street, and she got like a jar in her hand, and she's begging for money, and the cars are going by her, and thankfully she didn't step off the median. If she did, she'd have been killed, little girl, right? So that's the reason we do it, to protect that. But yeah, this family decided to come through the region. They were not from the region. They decide, I imagine they do this in multiple places. They have a large family. They hit an intersection. They spread out, and they beg for money until they get caught. And when we caught them, they had well over $1,000 already.
There were some
$1,000 in one intersection. Think about that.
One day?
Dude, and by the way, this wasn't the only one they hit. So they bounce out of Hammond, and they go to another intersection in another city where they're probably not accosted by police officers, and they get $3,000-$4,000 there, and then they hit another one the next day. These people are making more than you are, and you're throwing money out your door because you're feeling bad, but they make more than you do.
There is literally a gypsy. They are gypsies. They're a gypsy family that.
No,
say
see,
gypsies?
I don't think you can.
Well, I'm going.
See, like I said Indian the other day, and you about dropped your freaking
I'm
coffee.
saying gypsy right here on the show.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there was
what is the definition of that? Is it like?
Yeah.
Well, in my case, they were.
It's a traveling family. That's how I refer to it as, right?
Traveling family.
They travel from city to city begging for money. Some people call them gypsy families, but
the ones that I am referring to had Romanian passports, which is where a lot of gypsies are from, and they came through Mexico.
You're so smart, it's going to get you in trouble.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, I think like Nicole Sullivan, she always talks about gypsies.
Call like the Romani or something, Kevin.
Yeah, you could call them that.
Oh, you're throwing Nicole under the bus now?
Well, we've had some gypsy conversations.
Hold on, we're moving way too fast for this topic. Kevin, you
Yes.
said a Romanian family with Romanian passports ended up in Hammond via Mexico.
And had warrants out of Texas.
He's true.
What
he's
the
being,
hell is
Kevin
going
is being
on?
true. Yeah,
That happened.
And the cops stopped him, and they had over $1,000 in singles and change that residents of the city of Hammond threw out their cars because they felt sorry for this poor family.
I don't throw out gypsy willy-nilly, John. This is backed in fact.
But like, you're throwing money to this family because you're feeling bad for them. This family's making 3 times the amount of money you're making, and they just travel from city to city, preying upon people that feel sorry for them. That's why we don't allow it in Hammond.
I'm still stuck on the panhandling in the Constitution.
Can you give us an example of what is legal under the Constitution?
I'm not going to give anyone.
Our founding fathers.
I'm not going to give anybody any ideas.
The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment is thou shalt panhandle.
Yeah.
We could have gypsies listening to this show waiting for this legal opinion.
All right. Let's move on.
Oh, wow.
So, hey, by the way,
Speaking of stealing
is bad, right?
Yes.
So, and we all get frustrated. I just read an article yesterday about, in San Francisco about how a lot of companies are moving out of San Francisco because they have policies in San Francisco that doesn't prosecute shoplifting for anything less than $1,000.
It's a lot.
You're not going to get a misdemeanor.
A lot of Doritos,
right? So, like, if you're buying anything less than $1,000, unless the store stops you, and a lot of times they won't because they don't want to get sued, you could just walk out with your shit for free, right? So in San Francisco, they're literally shutting down stores. They're like, we can't
Dr.
handle.
Mike reported that.
Yeah, the Whole Foods shut down, and it's not just Nordstrom. They're just like, hey, I'm not going to be part of this scene, right? Well, and this is a situation where a man went to a Dollar General store and walked out with a bunch of stuff. He literally has bags and bags of groceries, and the manager of the store chased him down.
Took matters to her own hands.
So, like, you're not going to see this if you're listening. So picture this. The guy's going down a sidewalk in front of a driveway. It's obviously a home security system. And the lady pulls in front of his bike and launches him and his groceries over her hood. And then you're going to miss that part. But the verbal altercation is classic. So hang on.
Hold on. Okay. Let me do a quick forward and backwards here for the people watching. Look at this.
He's got
my God.
By the way, he's got like a laundry basket, like probably one of those shopping baskets you get, right? Full of shit, full of stuff he stole.
And he probably stole the bike too, but the bike is definitely ruined after getting hit by the car. So I'm sure the bike is stolen also.
The car did a good job of sideswiping
Agree.
him and not
She has-
actually
I
hitting
agree.
him.
She has to be like a cop. That was perfected.
Yes.
She's just like, I'm going to clip you
Head
and
him
send
off.
you flying.
Yep.
She clipped him. And he went flying, and the
Over the
groceries,
handlebars.
stolen groceries are everywhere. So let's hear what the altercation
This is the manager.
just hit him with the door.
You are stealing shit from my store, bitch.
Shut up, bitch.
Look, quit stealing shit. That's the same.
Get my
That's
shit,
the same
man.
fucking time. What the fuck? That's the second time.
Stupid ass
You
bitch.
can't afford flowers, dumbass.
Fuck your ass, bitch.
Fuck you.
You don't live a fucking life out there, bitch.
All you see me living in my fucking
You
car?
motherfucker.
Okay, now she.
What?
Yeah, that was great. So they're arguing.
It
She
goes
said
on
it's-
like this.
She said it's the second time you've done this at my store. Stop stealing stuff. And then she also takes his bike and throws it into the street.
Wait,
Look at
did
his
she
tire.
hit him with the car door when she got out?
Yes.
That's great.
Look at his tire. Look at his
Oh
tire.
yeah, it's already screwed
His
up.
tire is ruined.
He
So-
ain't driving out of there with that.
No. That bike is done.
So can we play the rest? Because the ending is great when he's like, "I'm gonna."
Okay.
I
You're gonna
do
hear-
like the rest.
Okay.
Because
All
he's
right.
saying it's not that serious.
Right.
You know, people do this all the time.
So we got. Well, this is a long one though. It's like a minute left. I don't know, John, if you want to.
We got nothing but time.
There you go.
Fucking shit,
You
bitch.
know I fucking live in my car? You fucking working hard, you fucking stealing for the store?
Shut up, bitch.
Fucking
Ain't
asshole.
that fucking serious, though?
Not that fucking serious.
Nasty. You gonna fix my shit, bitch?
Fix your shit. Buy your own shit.
Dumbass bitch.
Fucking messing up this person's house. What the fuck?
You did that.
You can't afford fucking
Shit.
shit.
Look, ain't that fucking serious, nigga?
Stealing for a fucking store.
Who cares? Everybody steals from the motherfuckers all the time. If it was your people, you wouldn't be tripping.
Fuck you.
What the fuck? Yeah, you going to jail for that, bitch.
Go ahead.
Oh, throw that shit
There
in
you go.
reverse.
There it
All
is.
right.
You're going to jail.
So he's going to call the cops because as a store manager, she chased him down and stopped him from stealing. Probably there's literally dozens and dozens of items that he
Oh
stole.
yeah, and he's like picking up. They're both like picking them up, and like she's getting some, he's getting some back.
Yes, it's still
Like-
a theft in progress.
Yeah.
He's like, what can I get and get out of
He's
here?
re-stealing the stuff he stole.
And
Did
like,
she say that she lived in her car? Did
No.
I thought she did
She
say
says
something.
okay.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I caught, but like the thing is, like he is saying everybody steals. What's the big deal?
Yeah,
That's the problem.
like that's the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody steals.
What are you
Everybody
doing?
steals.
If you hit somebody with your car every time somebody stole, you'd be hitting people with your car all day. How about this? How about we don't steal?
There you go.
Right? This guy's got hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, and she did the right thing.
Probably
I don't
so
know.
frustrated that she's
Yeah.
probably, as a store manager, she's probably so frustrated that this dude has stolen not once but twice, walks out with a basket full of stuff, and just believes that he can just do that. And then he's going to say to her, "You're going to go to jail for this." Really?
It could have gotten so much worse.
I agree, John. I couldn't believe that they literally were just like yelling at each other and picking up the stolen items instead of like him like beating her up or trying
Yeah,
to or
right.
assaulting her.
Right? He got hit by.
What if he had a gun?
He got hit by a car.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like that is pretty ballsy on her part, and it's in a nice neighborhood. It's like you could tell first, you could tell it's a really nice neighborhood, and it's not even their driveway. They
She
just
put
got into a huge altercation in somebody else's driveway.
as much as I appreciate what she did, she put herself in a very tough position. I assume she's a mom. I assume she's a, parent or a wife, and put herself in a very dangerous position here.
Agree.
But
This is not recommended.
no.
But it made for a great video.
Oh my God, 10 million views.
Really.
Yeah.
Nice.
Vigilante justice.
I do like it. I think that's honestly, yeah.
I just think it's like
I pray for
indicative
the
of a
day.
problem. Like, how can you? What mentality is it's? Oh, everybody steals, and you're going to jail for hitting me, but not like, oh my God, I'm going to get caught for stealing.
I want to help somebody out one day in a situation like this.
Wow.
That's like the stuff I wait for. There's something to go down with me there.
Oh, you're gonna be like Batman.
I would step up. They wouldn't suspect me either. I'd be just sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'd step up and like tackle them or something.
Out of
like
the
that.
shadows.
Honestly though, like that's the thing we have to all do nowadays is if you're, God forbid, if we're ever in a situation with an active shooter, or, if you're in a situation where somebody's getting beat up, like I have no choice myself, and I think it's up to, people like myself in the world to step up when you have to. And like, it means sometimes you're going to probably get hurt or killed, but we have to do that. Think about, how much America's changed.
Enough's enough.
Think about how much America's changed, though, Kevin. Like in 9/11, everybody's like, "Oh, they're just hijacking the plane." I mean, really, things started changing since that day forward, and now we have active shootings all the time. It's like if you sit there and hide, you're a dead duck. You got to go after the person, and you may get killed yourself, but you could save dozens of people's lives in the process.
I think, and I mean, even we've seen in, we get the advantage of, and people may know this because I think it's all over TV and stuff as well. But like in speaking with police officers, they've changed their mentality, right? I mean, between Columbine and today, right? I mean, like it's all about.
What was the one in Texas? I hate the fact I forgot it.
Uvalde. Uvalde, where they didn't do what they were supposed to do,
and they literally everybody got fired. The police department and people are getting sued. You know, the chief lost his job, got run out of town basically.
And then compare that to Nashville or Tennessee, where they just immediately went in,
right? And yet, you know,
they were so awesome, weren't they, John? I was so proud of them.
The body cam.
When they're running in, and you could hear the gunshots in the background, and they're running in. I'm like, who are the heroes in America?
Yeah.
It's not rappers, it's not athletes, it's police officers. Quite frankly, firemen also. But let's be honest, in this environment with the violence the way it is, if you don't support the police, you're a moron, in my opinion. Like, the police are the only thing that's keeping us safe right now. They're our army. Because honestly, I'm not worried about getting attacked by Russia right now. I'm not worried about getting attacked by a foreign army. I'm worried about my family or myself getting killed by an American because we go to dinner or something like that.
Correct.
And the only people keeping us safe are the police officers. And we have people still saying defund the police. You're a freaking idiot if you're saying that. Yeah. You're a goddamn moron.
Yeah, anybody, if you watch that Nashville video, it's just amazing to me how I don't want to say calm, but really steady under pressure. And these guys are just they are just so focused. God, and it's like, oh my God.
Who took control.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
They're bad. And then you compare it to Uvalde. And how they were cowards.
Standing around.
Cowards. Sitting outside.
Putting hand sanitizer on their hands.
I would think any police officer,
kids are getting slaughtered.
Any police officer who watches Uvalde and watches Nashville, I mean, they've got to, I
was so proud of police officers in general when I was watching Nashville. Yeah. I was so proud of them. And I was thinking how stupid our country is because we look at rappers and actors and actresses like they're all that. And really, it's your local police officer. That's all that. It's your local police officer that risks their life every single day and gets spit on basically by society. It's a fucking joke what's going on in our country right now.
You brought up a good point, Tom, that we could probably talk about for a while. Is now these videos come out, God forbid, these terrible videos every now and then, and everyone's just standing around filming instead of doing something, whether it's on the subway or on a street, whatever. Yeah. And then, God forbid, and listen, I know this is a charged topic, but when you say someone has to do something eventually, they do,
and they get sued,
and they get charged with murder.
Listen, man,
it's a tough topic.
They showed a video. I don't know much about this. So I'm speaking out of line, but that was a New York situation where
that's what a citizen talking about.
A citizen choked out
a homeless guy that was if you listen to the reports are, he was being very aggressive on the subway.
Right, I saw him. They showed a video of the homeless guy that pushed a woman right into a subway that was stopped. Against a cart, pushed her. She flew off her feet like a small woman, like the size of Marissa. Pushed her off her feet. She flew and slammed into a subway. That's the same guy that was choked out and unfortunately passed away. But that guy's a piece of shit. Quite frankly, I hate to say it.
He was arrested 40-some times.
Dude, what the hell?
First off, he should have had serious mental help and intervention before.
Well, and that's a huge problem, right? Where people aren't getting the help they need, mental health wise.
But like. For the guy that the vigilante, not the vigilante, is that the right word, Kevin?
I would say the citizen.
The citizen.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah. And now this guy's got to get a lawyer and face criminal charges, and he's probably not going to get prosecuted.
I was really shocked on how quickly the prosecutor brought charges.
It's because they're it's a woke prosecutor. It's scared to death of getting run out of office. It's bullshit, man. Like, could you imagine the prosecutor protects the veteran? If he protects the veteran, he's going to get run out of office by the progressives that support the prosecutor.
Yeah, I was really shocked on how fast those charges were brought. I mean, it seemed like they needed.
But they're never going to get. You agree that there's no jury that's ever going to convict this guy, right?
I think it'd be very difficult to get a conviction.
You're not going to get one person on the jury says the guy protected society by choking out. I'm sure he didn't want to kill the guy, but he's probably like, "Hey, you're not going anywhere, buddy."
Mm-hmm. And there were other people with him that were kind of trying to do the same thing. He was the only one that had his hand around his neck.
Was he like an MMA guy? I don't know.
No, I don't know. He just looked like he had a very tight chokehold on the guy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
that's the scary thing, though, because when you think about that gets you. That reminds you of George Floyd, obviously.
Yes.
But those are police officers, and if he's like MMA or anything, he's in trouble probably.
I don't know.
I don't think he was, and then he put him in a recovery position, I guess. It's like he knew. I don't know if he was trained in some training.
That sounds
it's
like
all going to come out.
Why would you go for the throat?
I agree with you.
You're just trying to detain someone.
I agree with you, Joe. But you don't want to discourage people like that from stepping forward, because I would be that guy. Honestly, I know I would be. I just know myself. If I was in a situation like that, there's no goddamn way I'm standing back.
So Kevin, here's the cycle.
Kevin, is that true, Kev?
that would definitely be what you would be doing.
There's no doubt. I know I would get involved. If I saw a situation, especially if he pushed a woman off her feet, there's no fucking way I would ignore that. There's no way. I'd be like, dude, what the hell is your problem, right? There's no way.
I think I'd be on my phone calling 911 while Tom
well, that
was
would be
taking the
great.
guy
But
down.
there is no way I could stand back and watch that. And this guy did the right thing, and now he's facing criminal charges. It's a freaking disgrace, man. It's a disgrace what's going on in our country right now because we're so afraid of the mob of people on Twitter. Well, the good thing for me is I was kicked off Twitter, so I don't have to worry about that shit anymore. So,
Twitter's not a real place.
Yes.
right.
Yeah, but the discouraging thing is there's people like you, and if there is a situation like that, they're thinking, well, if I do something, I might get
Right. Now I'm going to
charged.
get charged.
Maybe I'll
Right.
just stand back and film
Let
it.
this
Right.
guy
Stand back and film.
Yeah, stand back and film and let this guy run.
Sick.
Run
It's
ripshot over the
sick.
It does
the
suck.
subway. Yeah.
Hey, Jill. So we did the LA show, and then we drove to the convention in Vegas. We got a one-way car rental and drove across. And as you're driving across, we drive through the desert, and I've seen this before, but we didn't realize how quickly it was going to come upon us. Is you see like an illusion, and you're in the middle of the
Mojave.
desert, right? And all of a sudden, you see this glistening lake in the distance with this really white, bright. It's like a sun, and you're like, "What the hell?" It looks like something out of space, right? And as you pull up on it, you see it's the biggest solar farm you'll ever see. We learned that the solar farms they have in California are 10 times the size of Manhattan. And eventually they'll be able to power
Think about
7 million homes, these solar farms, right? Which is
crazy.
I think most people could agree that's awesome. That we are generating electricity from the middle of a desert with just sunlight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
For 7 million homes.
for 7 million homes. That's like you could power Indiana, 2 times over with that kind of power. You could power LA, you could power Vegas, you could power everything with just the electricity generated from sunlight, which we get naturally. So you would think that environmentalists, you would think that everybody's thinking this is the future, right? Not so fast. Not so fast.
Well, I mean, as an elected official, aren't you used to, right? People, no matter what idea you come up with, there's a group of, folks that are going to be anti whatever it is.
So
It happens all the time.
So picture this. This is if you go between Phoenix, Vegas, and LA and Vegas, San Diego and Vegas, when you're making this drive, it's real when you're getting closer to Vegas. It's in California and in Arizona, but there's all kinds of solar farms right around Las Vegas, right? And then they're getting bigger. I think they said there's 15 more projects planned. That
On
are
the
like
California
this.
side, though.
On the California side,
Yeah, it's
right?
like after Joshua Tree, before you get to Nevada line, that kind of area.
And Jill, from a distance, I imagine even from the air, if you're like a couple hundred feet in the air, if you saw this, it looks like water. It looks like a big lake in the middle of the desert. So I imagine if you see a big lake and you're a dumb bird and you're like, water, I'm thirsty because it's 110 degrees, you fly down there as quick as possible, right? The problem is this. Birds are dumb, right? And when they fly down, they slam hard into the water, quote unquote, and they kill themselves because they slammed into a mirror.
Yikes.
And this is happening frequently. And by the way, we've already experienced this, Kevin, with windmills, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been on the bird count.
Yes, we had to do a bird count when there was some issues with a threat to a couple windmills that got put up through a grant by the Port Authority. There had to be a bird count daily to see if any birds died, and I don't believe we ever found one.
Really?
Maybe one.
One
Maybe
day,
one.
I went out there and I threw like a frozen chicken down there. Threw them for a loop. They're like, what the hell?
Birds aren't real.
It's just
Yeah, there you
chicken
go.
breast in
And
a
this is not
package.
like
Chicken
anti-bird.
breast
It's
in a
kind of
package.
like, to me, it's like, so I was thinking about this, and I'm like, look, you have to make some sort of decision which way you want to go here. Either you can have coal-fired power plants and the birds can die from the soot and the disgusting raining down of coal dust over 100 years, or you can
We could burn oil.
you could burn oil.
That's
Another
dirty.
good point. Let's
Dirty.
burn some oil. Or you can say, you know
Trees.
what, we're going to have
We could use fire. like they
deforest.
did. Well, or we should just go powerless.
You could do powerless. That's
We
now
could
that's
just
really
go dark.
going.
We could just go dark,
We can
and
do
then
that.
all the birds will be happy.
But if
right?
you want energy, you need things. These are alternative ways to get energy.
I am sick of
Wind power, solar
right?
power.
I think these are great.
geothermal power,
This is
nuclear power.
By the way, you know how this works. So, Jill, check it out. So, during the day, all of the mirrors, let's call it 10 to 20,000 mirrors, are perfectly aligned at that, and in the middle of all these mirrors, so it's a big circle, and in the middle, for those of you who can't see it, is like a tower, and at the top of the tower is like a white hot globe.
And by the way, when you're driving, it is like as
it's
bright
like the sun.
as you've ever seen
It's like
something
the sun, or
on
like
or near land.
You see people that weld.
Correct.
And
There you
you
go.
look at the
There you
weld,
go,
that's
right.
what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
It's like white hot like that, and you can't even look at it straight, right? All the mirrors point at that white hot globe, and they get it white hot. It's thousands of degrees hot, right? And it's connected to the underground. It goes all the way underground. All this heat is transferred to a bunch of molten salt, basically, under the ground.
I never knew salt melted. Well, I guess
I didn't either.
I guess inherently everything probably has a melting point, but I didn't realize.
So
that's
this
what it
salt goes into cold water. When I say cold water, like 100-degree water, and creates steam, and the steam turns turbines and makes electricity, okay? But what happens is, so during the day when it's white hot, it's easy because the sun's out. But the reason you have this molten salt at the bottom is when the sun goes down, this salt retains all that heat and keeps making steam all through the night, and it starts to finally cool down right as the sun comes up again, and it heats it back up.
So
it's like a battery.
Is
The salt is like a molten battery under the ground, and it keeps you going even when the sun goes down.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, former nuclear electrician
Mm-hmm.
on a submarine. How does that differ than how does power generated in a nuclear?
Yeah,
reactor?
it's the same. Well, we always have the reactor going.
Okay.
Okay, and it's the same philosophy. The reactor primary is, let's just say it's around 500 degrees. It is right around there. Okay, I can't be specific,
Right.
and it's always going into the cold water, which is 100 and something degrees, and creating steam, turning turbines, doing all that, making water, everything we do with water.
So
Basically.
same thing that happened on the nuclear side.
That's how I understand it so well. Okay, so, but we also in the submarine we had a battery. If all the crap hits the fan, let's say your nuclear reactor goes offline or something, right? If that happens, you're in big trouble, right? So in the Navy, we have the battery at the bottom of the Navy, at the bottom of the ship. That's what I was in charge of, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the battery saves your life. So the battery for this setup is the molten salt.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's what. So when the sun goes down, that's their nuclear
And it gets
power.
cold in the desert. It's not like it's burning hot all
But
day.
the molten salt is probably 500 degrees.
Wow.
And it just, the rest of the night, it just makes steam. And then when it's finally, let's say the molten salt gets down to like 300 degrees in the morning, ping, you heat it right back up again.
With the sun in the desert. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's always sun in the desert.
So the end game is this this bright light shining on these solar panels.
The solar panel shining on the bright light, other way around.
Sorry, the
Yeah.
solar panel shining on the bright light generates energy.
Mm-hmm. It generates the heat you need to create steam. Steam is what's going to create the energy.
But
turns
and
the
then
turbines.
down and that's going to a grid, a power grid
Yep.
somewhere.
It goes to a
To
power
create-
grid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the knocks against this plant is they're saying that instead of doing these huge solar power systems in the middle of a desert, and the reason they're saying it should be on people's roofs. Okay, people do have it on their roofs, but I personally think this is genius because you can't get better sun coverage than a desert. That's why we don't build there in the first place. But what they're saying is there's an entire ecosystem that's being destroyed by this, and there are people that live in the desert that these huge construction projects are impacting negatively. So, like there's a desert turtle that's, being, affected by these huge plants, and obviously the birds that are dumb and they dive into the solar panels and kill themselves. Obviously the environmentalists are concerned about the loss of birds. So basically, you can't win either way.
Yeah,
if you're going clean and you're not killing the environment by putting soot and pollution in the air, then birds are dying because they're dumb and they fly into moving blades or they fly into a solar panel. And these same people that are pissed off about the dirty air are pissed off because birds are dying.
Yeah, to me, it's such an amazing project. I mean, but just the sheer size of it, like Tom said, 10 times the size of Manhattan, that's 150,000 acres. Is one of these places. The Riverside East Solar Energy Zone, 150,000 acres. It's crazy. I mean, think about this. I mean, it's hard to even comprehend the size of that.
When you see it, though, it was worth the trip for me.
I think going
it makes
by
me
it-
feel proud. It's like, holy crap. It is the biggest. It's the biggest development I've seen, like with your own eyes. It's just massive, Joe. You're just like because you see nothing for hours. You're driving in nothingness, and it's just burning hot. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, bam, just as far as you could see, mirrors pointing at a white hot globe.
Yeah, and just some like really interesting facts. Like the first one was fast-tracked under the Obama administration called Desert Sunlight. That's the one we saw between San Diego and Las Vegas. And that was only, at the time, it was the largest solar plant in the world, and it was only 4,000 acres. And since then, there are 15 other projects. So this is like a big thing in California. And I agree with you, Tom. It's something to be really proud of and really cool because you always hear about like, oh, solar energy's coming, solar energy's coming.
Right.
It's only 3% of the grid now, and the goal is to have 45% of the grid by 2050.
I think that's a great goal to have. I really think that, in this regard, the Biden administration is, and the Obama administration, they're doing the right thing. This is where we need to go. And unfortunately, if the birds are dying, hopefully the smarter birds reproduce more. Really? Because
Natural selection.
The dumb birds aren't going to be able to.
Right?
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, obviously, they have to adapt. And this is one of the ways birds need to adapt. And if you're flying into a solar panel and you kill yourself, you're not going to be able to reproduce. And that's probably good for the future of the bird population.
I think it's a cleaner energy. It's like we're moving forward, and that's the way. To me, it's a much better direction. Like you said, I mean, you've been a very big proponent of nuclear energy because you know it, right? And you're like, there's nothing better than
I love it
over time. And same
it's
thing.
Clean.
And I like wind. I like solar. I mean, these are great things. So.
All right. Hey, we should probably do some ads and then come back and talk a little Eugene Carroll quickly, and then we have a funny ass video we're going to play on the way out. It's
Trump on part 3 here today.
funny ass audio. You don't even need to see it. It's going to close out the show. It's worth waiting just for that. It's funny as hell. So let's go ahead and do some ads. Ron J. Prestmer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestmer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103. That's 219-844-0103.
Tortillas Nueva Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nueva Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia. ¡Yeah! De todo corazón.
Bug Guy Pest Control. Warmer temperatures mean unwanted guests such as ants, spiders, wasps, mosquitoes, and more. Shut down their party before they get started. A comprehensive pest plan from the Bug Guy will help you enjoy the great outdoors as well as the indoors all summer long. To solve your pest problems or start a preventative plan, call the Bug Guy today and tell the pest he's on the way. Call Brian, the Bug Guy Pest Control, at 219-810-7481. That's the Bug Guy, 219-810-7481.
Calumet Brewing. Whether you're on the gorse... on the gorse? Let's try that again. Calumet Brewing. Whether you're on the golf course or just spending a day in the sun, Michelob Ultra with only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a 4.2 ABV is the perfect beer for a summer day. Michelob Ultra brews a light lager that's worth every single sip. So no matter if you're kicking back after a long workout, a pickup game at the park, or a day out on the fairways, you're sure to enjoy this great light beer. Don't just drink it, enjoy it. Head over to Cal Brew on Facebook and find the golf bag post for your chance to win through May 12th. You can also head over to Michelob Ultra websites and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Looking for a new career in 2023? Earn a competitive wage while you gain valuable hands-on experience as an electrician. Did we mention employer-paid benefits, including health insurance, pension, and an annuity? If so, visit JACT697.org, sponsored by Powering America.
Jacked.
Oh, is that what we're going
That's
for?
a Lindsay. Lindsay had it. It was great. Jacked.
Eugene Carroll. I think she's an author, isn't she?
She was a society columnist.
Society columnist who a jury in a civil trial ruled that Trump was liable for sexually assaulting her in the 90s.
A while ago.
It was a while ago.
Sexual assault and defamation, yeah.
Sexual assault
$5
and
million.
defamation.
Was it sexual assault? Is what he was found?
Well,
it wasn't a crime.
So it was battery, John, not rape, right? Yeah.
It was not a crime. It was civil.
Yeah, and so just something about that. So in Indiana, they don't have what are called special jury interrogatories. Some states, like Illinois and New York, do. And what that means is, like in Indiana, you don't get answers from the jury except, are you liable and for how much, or you're not liable. In some states, you can ask the jury questions and have them answer it. Was Donald Trump liable for battery? on E. Jean Carroll? Yes or no. Was Donald Trump liable for raping E. Jean Carroll? Yes or no. And you can do questions like that, right? So that's just to understand.
Is that after the verdict?
No, you send that back to the jury, and they come back
with the jury instructions.
With the instructions, and they come back with those answers to the questions, and then a verdict.
Wow.
Yeah.
He did not rape her because she's not his type.
Well, that's what he says.
That's what rapists say.
What a statement!
Yeah.
Think about that
right.
statement.
Oh my God, it's gross. It is so gross.
If she was my type,
right?
It's
game on.
Does he think? We're gonna play this thing later. It's funny.
Nobody has been better with women than Donald Trump. That's
Speaking of this topic,
yeah, you're gonna hear how I said that towards the end. But so anyway, obviously the jury rules for E. Jean Carroll versus Donald Trump in a defamation settlement and for battery, right, Kev?
That's correct.
And was the verdict? Did the verdict ever come out? The amount?
$5 million.
$5 million.
He appealed immediately. Right?
He appeals immediately. So he has a $5 million verdict that he owes to E. Jean Carroll. He's most likely going to end up paying unless for some reason this verdict is overturned. Okay. So, and then Trump goes on the CNN special
that day.
And has asked questions about E. Jean Carroll. So the case is over. The old defamation case is we already have a verdict. Now he starts defaming her again when he says this on the CNN town hall. He stated that he did not sexually abuse Carroll, and he has no idea who Carroll was, and that Carroll's now proven accusation was fake and a made-up story created by a whack job. He also went on a tangent about her ex-husband and a cat.
That was my favorite part of it.
Right.
Wait, if he doesn't know who she is, how does he know about her ex-husband and a cat?
That's true.
Exactly. No, she's like, I knew her ex-husband, very nice guy, and then about her cat or something. It was crazy.
So Kevin,
cat is it like the real cat?
So now legally,
yes,
we got the old defamation case, and the $5 million verdict is on appeal.
Yes.
So now Trump starts a whole new case, right?
Well,
when he says that it's a made-up story, that she's a whack job, that it's fake, that is defamation.
I mean, it is. You can
a new case.
I think that's what E. Jean Carroll's saying is that she's alleging that it is defamation in a new matter. And so the interesting thing about this is there were actually two cases pending. The one that went to trial about the actual battery, rape, and defamation, and then she had a separate case pending since 2019 for comments he had already made a defamation case, and so she wanted to amend her complaint in that case
to make another
and
one.
add this one. That one all has to do with whether or not he was immune from her case because he was president at the time,
right?
And whether she could or couldn't sue.
But he keeps saying stuff like this. She's a whack job.
Now she's trying to add,
this is fake.
Yeah, and now he's not president now,
right?
So she's amending. She wants to amend her complaint to add these comments on to the defamation case. It's very
like
the case that won't end.
The thing about elected officials that they got to realize is when you're talking about a private citizen, like Donald Trump is doing, he's talking about a private citizen.
Yeah.
They have expectations and reasonable expectations of privacy. They cannot be defamed. Excuse me. They can be defamed. Whereas an elected official, what do you have to prove?
A much higher standard. You have to prove actual malice under the New York Times standard.
Right?
Yeah.
So he keeps on talking about a private citizen, and she keeps on suing him for defamation.
You would just hope the guy would be like, I'm appealing this. I strongly disagree with the jury's verdict. I maintain that I never did anything to this woman, and I'm looking forward to the Court of Appeals dealing with this.
Right. Instead of saying she's a whack job, she's mentally unstable. Mentally unstable is defamation, unless
it's
proven
it's a fake
she's
allegation, right?
Right, which means she's lying. It means she's going through the litigation process, and he keeps on roasting her as a liar and as a whack job, saying that she's basically seeking money. It's defamation. Each time he says it is defamation.
That's what I was going to ask. So let's say she wins this defamation case, and then he says she's a whack job again. Is there a potentially new defamation case?
Yes.
Really? He's not just universally covered?
That's no.
Keep defaming her
double jeopardy.
in perpetuity?
He keeps on saying it's civil, John. There's no... He keeps on talking about a private citizen. I mean, no wonder they got a big picture of her smiling.
She's still a whack job. She's even further a whack job.
I mean, I'd be smiling like that. That looks like a lady that just got $5 million to me, and she's about to get another 10.
And probably more just a woman who's been feels vindicated after being dragged through the mud.
Yes.
Who is she? Looks just like the blonde that was on Cheers. What's her name?
You're right. She does.
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long.
She does look like her. like a couple
how
years
about
older.
the fact that, like, I don't know if you were on that show where they had the old photo where, like, Donald Trump said in the deposition,
Yes.
"That's my wife."
Yes, and it was
It was
her.
her. It was
Because
Eugene Carroll.
that was important because Donald Trump said,
I didn't know her. or whatever.
"No, she's not my type.
That's
she doesn't
right.
find me
That's
attractive.
right. You're right.
I don't find her
That's
attractive.
right.
I would have never raped her because I don't find her attractive." And then they showed Donald Trump a picture from like the 1990s and say, "You know who that woman is right there?" And he said, "Yeah, that's my ex-wife, Marla Maples."
Who was his type?
Who was his type, and it was actually E. Jean Carroll.
Whoa.
He totally
Oh,
identified her.
As a juror, that would
Which
be
means,
like big evidence to
which
me,
means
right?
she is my type, and everything I said is wrong, right? So
I want to be careful because I don't want to get sued by E. Jean Carroll for defamation.
No.
But you guys have you seen like interviews with her? Like she doesn't, like, there's something off, isn't there? Or
not everybody's a media personality, though, John. You're comparing, like, she probably doesn't even want to be on TV. I would.
Okay.
I don't know. Keep in mind that not everybody's trained to go in front of the cameras and make a great, strong case.
That,
you know.
Fair enough.
I mean, she's just.
But it seems
she
something
got-
more than that. But I don't know.
Well,
I don't know either. All I know, it's one of those. I don't know. It's an interesting case to me.
Maybe she's just being more careful with her words during
sure.
a lawsuit than Trump
well,
is.
she's,
You know?
she's obviously very intelligent too. Obviously, if you're a columnist, you're not a dummy. You know. So, anyway, I think closing out the show with our. This is a thing that appeared on Joe Rogan, and I saw it on TikTok, and it was just so classic Trump that I wanted to play it for you all. Even though it's Joe Rogan clip, we're borrowing this from the Joe Rogan show. If you're interested, Joe Rogan's got a great show, and I want to give him some props because we are pulling from his show here. But you got to listen to this; it's pretty hilarious.
Why don't you wrap the show up so we can just go right out?
We'll
on
just
this?
go ahead and close it out with this, with a good laugh for the day. Thanks for coming in, Joe. We appreciate you doing the show, covering for Lindsay. She had to work till 3 a.m, so thank you very much for being there. Good luck tonight with your game.
Thanks.
Yep.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hope the girls play great. Jay Vaz, thanks. Sorry you're on West Coast time along with us still, but we appreciate you being in here. Thanks, Kevin. It's good to see you. And coming from the Locomotive, we appreciate the show. We'll be back on Friday. We got a special guest, Paul Goddard, on Friday.
Oh,
Yes. So that's going to be a good show. So Paul Goddard from
Region News Source.
Region News Source. So if you're interested in Paul, he's always a great guest. So we'll be on Friday with him. And we're going to close with this great clip from Joe Rogan. Please listen to this. It's only like a minute long.
4 things nobody is better at than Trump.
Nobody can do it like me. Nobody. Nobody can do it like me. Honestly. Nobody's stronger than me.
Nobody has better toys than I do.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do.
Nobody builds walls better than me.
Nobody's better to people with disabilities than me. Nobody's fighting for the veterans like I'm fighting for the veterans.
There's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have.
There's nobody more pro-Israel than I am. There's nobody more conservative than me.
There's nobody that respects women more than I do.
Oh, really?
Nobody would be tougher
Okay.
on ISIS
Had I
than
known.
Donald Trump.
Nobody's ever had crowds like Trump has had.